This is Marianne Martindale from the Alliance for a Better Utah, and welcome to the Better Utah Beat. Wow, have you ever been so pleased to see an election cycle end? Presidential elections have become just like retail Christmas season. They seem to start earlier every time. Now that everyone has had time to digest the results of last Tuesday, it seems that without question, overall it was a success for Democrats. Not only did President Obama retain the presidency by an enormous electoral margin, but Democrats also picked up several seats in both the House and Senate. And even here in Utah, Democrats won the high-profile races, with Jim Matheson taking Congressional District 4 and Ben McAdams winning Salt Lake County Mayor. Among the many Democratic victories nationwide, it was interesting to see which Republican incumbents or challengers were defeated. Every Republican male candidate who had made controversial statements about women's health, from Todd Akin to Richard Murdoch, was defeated. Democrats across the board also saw huge margins of victories among women, people under 45, Hispanics, African Americans, Asians, and LGBT voters. The thrashing among virtually all demographics except for white men over 45 has left many big-name Republican strategists across the country telling the media that the Republican Party needs to adapt quickly or risk finding itself irrelevant within only a few more election cycles. It is clear that women voters are not ready to concede Roe v. Wade. Marriage equality nationwide, whether through individual states or through federal law, is inevitable. And of course, it never has and never will be possible to round up all the undocumented workers and ship them across the border. Something new has to be done. The first proposed solution seems to be immigration. President Obama won more than 60% of the Latino vote, and as one of the fastest growing population groups in the country, these are not voters Republicans can afford to lose. Republican Speaker of the House John Boehner said this week that it was time to start taking comprehensive immigration reform seriously, and urged the president to lead the way. This newfound sense of bipartisanship from the conservative side of the aisle is one we hope is genuine and not just post-election kowtowing, as the election seemed to pretty decisively state that America no longer favors the rigid and unyielding partisanship of the Tea Party. Of course, this moderation on the national scale hasn't quite penetrated the walls of the Utah legislature yet. State lawmakers are already gearing up for war over immigration, as the more extreme wing of the Utah Republican Party is making a hard push to repeal Utah's guest worker bill known as HB 116. The bill, passed as part of the Utah Compact in 2011, allows for undocumented immigrants who are already in Utah to temporarily stay on a guest worker permit if they pay a large fine for entering the country illegally. While HB 116 was far from perfect, it was at least a step in the right direction. The bill was enormously popular among moderate Republicans, was lauded by the LDS Church, and has been used as a model in several other states. But unfortunately, all that support among the moderate Republicans and the LDS Church has not been enough to sway the hardliners, who are pushing not only to repeal HB 116, but to enact more stringent immigration policy that would put Utah closer to an Arizona papers, please legislation. You may be looking forward to Thanksgiving and the holidays, but there's a looming storm on the horizon in Utah. Congratulations to all the candidates who won in Utah. We hope that you will honor the trust that has been placed in you by the people. We also want to acknowledge all the campaign staff and volunteers of every single campaign. And lastly, a very special thank you to our troops, the brave men and women to whom we owe a debt that we can never repay. Until next week, this is Marianne Martindale from the Alliance for a Better Utah with this week's edition of the Better Utah Beat. Have a great week. And remember that together, we can make a better Utah.